So, good evening to all of you. Hope you are all fine at your places. So, myself, Engineer Lavnesh Talwar, and your industrial drives teacher. So, today we will discuss about the some concepts of design of controller used for drive. So, before discussing about the design of controllers used for the industrial drive, first of all, you should all know what do you mean by an electrical drive. As we know, an electrical drive is basically the combination of three main components, where the major component is your prime mover, and this prime mover is basically an electrical motor which depends upon the input supply. If the input supply is a DC motor, then we can say that it is a DC prime mover, and if the input supply is an AC motor, AC, so you can say that it is an AC prime mover. The second important component in case of an industrial drive is your transmitting device, which actually transmits the power or energy from the prime mover to the load. And third one is actually the load where this power can be delivered. So by the combination of these three components, it will form actually the industrial drive. Now, for the safe operation of this industrial drive, we are generally required some controllers that can control this drive in the terms of their speed control, in the terms of their current control, in the terms of their voltage control. So depending upon these, we are using a various type of controllers that can control our industrial drive. Now today I am discussing about something that what are the various controllers and how a controller can help to control this drive system. This is the main content of my presentation. Here we are component where we are discussing these are some things. Now to start with this concept, let us suppose you have a machine or you have a motor, and in this motor the figure shows the two diagrams where on the left hand side it is the internal structure of the armature winding, and whereas on the right hand side it is the internal structure of the field winding, where this RA is the armature resistance, LA is the inductance, or you can say that inductance of the armature, EA is the back EMF, and on the extreme right hand side you have field resistance, that is RF, field inductance, that is LF, and we have the field voltage, that is VF. In an armature we have a current, and that current is called as the armature current, where on the field side there is a current that is called as the field current. Now it depends which type of motor can be used. For example, if we use a DC series motor, in that case the armature current is equals to the field current is equals to the load current. But in case of a DC shunt motor, your load current is basically equal to the combination of the armature current as well as the field current. Now here we are discussing about the two equations. In first equation or in the second equation, basically what we do, we are basically applying the Kirchhoff's law, and according to the Kirchhoff's law, the sum of all the voltage drops in a closed loop is equals to 0. So when I apply KVL to this circuit, exactly this circuit, what will be happen that we have VT, that is a terminal voltage, is equals to armature resistance drop, that is RAIA, plus inductance drop, that is L DII by dt, plus you have this back EMF EA. Similarly, on the second thing, we have your field voltage is equals to RF into IF plus LF DIF upon dt. Also in the second equation you have TE, that is called as the electric torque, is equals to KT phi into IA, where KT is called as the constant proportionality, phi is called as the flux, and IA is the armature current. Whereas the back EMF is equals to KE phi omega, where this KE is again constant proportionality, phi is the flux, and omega is the speed in radians per second. So continuation to the next, we have the first equation, that is Vt is equals to Ra plus Ia plus L di by dt upon dt plus Ea is the equation for the armature circuit, whereas in steady state Vt is equals to Ra into Ia plus IEA. Now based upon above this equation, we have generally the three possible methods to control the speed of the motor. The number one is field flux, number two is armature voltage, and number three is armature resistance. So by adopting these three techniques, we can control the speed of the DC motor as well as the AC motor. So by the virtue of this, it can be used as a controller for a driver. Next, if we discuss about the dynamic model of a DC motor, so here we are seeing this is basically the armature circuit, and here we have the field circuit. Based upon this thing, we have the three equations, that is equation number 1, equation number 2, and equation number 3. Now, if we go Laplace transform, a Laplace transform is basically a technique where we can convert the time domain equation into its frequency domain equation. That means we can convert t into s. So individually we are taking basically the Laplace transform, and we will take the Laplace transform of equation number 1, equation number 2, and equation number 3. We have Va is equals to C. It's a constant. So constant we have Va into S. Here we have R into Ia plus derivative Laplace we have S L of Is minus I0 naught, and here it is again a constant. So 1, 2 or 3 equation, and here 1, 2 and 3 are the Laplace transform of these above equations. So based upon this thing, when we solve these equations, we are getting the block diagram of a DC motor. Now this figure shows the block diagram of a DC motor, and we are calculating these three equations from the previous equation, that equation number 1, equation number 2 and equation number 3. By equating these three equations, we are getting this type of three equation. The number 1 equation will be armature current, but in frequency domain, that is in Laplace domain. Number 2 is torque equation, also in Laplace domain, and number 3 is speed, also in Laplace equation. Now as you see, based upon these three, we are constructing the block diagram representation of the DC motor, and this figure represents the block diagram of a DC motor. Now on solving this block diagram, we have the transfer function. As we all know, the transfer function means it is a ratio of output upon input. Now see, in this figure number 1 or a figure number 2, we have figure number 1, we have there is Va is the input. Moreover, your TL is also called as the input, and your WM is basically the output. When we combine this equation to this equation, here we have RS is your input equation or input variable, DS is also your input variable, whereas your YS is equals to output variable. Now when we calculate the terms of transfer function, and the transfer function says it is the ratio of output upon input. Now in first, I can consider YS as input and RS as output. So the formula will be, when this is as output and this is as input, in that case your DS will be ignored. Now when DS will be ignored, these two blocks are in series, and according to the block diagram representation, when two blocks are in series, the resultant will be the product of these two blocks. So in this case, when we disobey DS or ignore DS, in that case your transfer function will be YS upon RS is equals to G1 into G2 upon 1. Here the sign will be minus. Now when we solve the value, it will becomes as plus. So it is 1 plus G1 G2 into HS. I think it will be clear to all of you. Is it okay? Whereas if you consider DS as input, and in this case when you consider DS as input, here the RFS as input can be ignored, and in this case your DS is your input and YS is your output. So in this case the transfer function will be YS upon DS, and in this YS upon DS you have forward path, that is G2S, and the backward path will be the comprises of H1S as well as G1S. So here we have the transfer function, that is G2S upon 1 plus H of S into G1 of S into G2 of S. So these are the two equations where we can get the transfer function of the DC motor. Number 1, when the input will be R of S, and number 2, when D of S will be your input. In both the cases, the output will be y of s. I think this concept must be understood when we talk about control system. That is a linear control system. In that linear control system, we are discussing about how the transfer functions of a block diagram representation can be calculated. So in the this is basically how a derivation of the transfer function is to be calculated. With that, I can conclude my today's lecture, and hope so this lecture will be quite beneficial to you for understanding about the controller drivers. Now in the next lecture, we will continue this presentation and discuss about another various factors that can defect about the speed control, the torque control, as well as your armature current control that can be used as a controller in a driver circuit. Thank you so much for watching this. Thank you so much.